Welcome to the Man 360 podcast.
You're listening to the Man 360 podcast. My name's Brian, and thank you for taking some time to be with us today. Man 360 is dedicated to helping men be complete in every way through Christ, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Today on the podcast, we want to discuss a very important but generally uncharted topic when it comes to Christians. So welcome to the Man 360 podcast. I'm your host, Brian. You will see that I have my executive producer, who happens to be my wife, on the podcast today. And we just appreciate you listening, not only viewing our television program on ctnonline.com and on television, on man360.tv, but also just hanging out and spend a little bit of time with us on the podcast and talking maybe a little more in depth or behind the scenes of what we do on the television program. So, Yolanda, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, dear.
I know. It was funny because I saw you this morning before you left the trailer, because we're in our travel trailer here in Florida.
Are.
And I said, well, I'll see you maybe later today. Have a nice day. So we've been so busy with stuff. But
we have.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit and have a little conversation about, and something that people ask us almost
all the time,
almost every week.
Yeah.
Like, how do you work with your wife?
Not only how do you work with your spouse, your husband, on my part, how are you with them 24 hours a day? Like, that is a big question.
I don't get asked that at all. No one's ever asked me that. I don't know. They ask you that
a lot.
Oh,
how
wow.
are you? How are you with your husband 24 hours a day?
So was that a loaded question because they know?
I think
they know my
sometimes.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest.
No, I was saying that because I didn't want you to.
You can be a lot for people.
No, I don't want you. This is not about honesty. This is about just giving the people what they want.
Yes.
So yes. So talk to me a little from your perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some of my thoughts that I'll share a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I want to know for you, in your perspective, what makes not just this work, but maybe what is your perception of us working together, and then maybe some tips or tricks, I guess, of spouses working together if they feel like there's been some stress maybe, because I feel like we do it well.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think so. I think for us, but for me, my perspective, and I'm interested to hear your perspective.
Oh, really?
Is that we have the same goals when it comes to ministry. Like, it's ministering to people, although we go about it in vastly different ways because our personalities are so different. But it's ministering to people, getting the message of the love of Jesus out. Like, we have those same end goals, right? And ministering to men, like, from my perspective, why I help you executive produce this program is because there are men out there that need to be godly, wonderful men.
Yeah.
And I think you're that. I think you're that man. You're not perfect. You have your things. But I know from my perspective, I'm a very happy wife because you take care of me. And you do.
Can we repeat that real quick so those of you that are listening?
You do. And you
sure.
lead our household well in the spiritual things, the ways of God, and all of that. So why wouldn't I want other men to learn that? Because I know that I'm happy. I know that I'm healthy, mentally healthy, taken care of because you do it well, you know. And so for me, it was a no-brainer to have a men's program because I see from a woman's point of view what works, and so I want to get that into programs to help men.
And I know it's been a different thank you. I wholeheartedly notice how quiet I was being when you're talking, no interrupting, letting you just keep talking. It's been beautiful.
Oh, I feel that way.
I do think that what's different with us, and if people are listening and they wonder, or they know us personally, they also know we don't have kids.
Correct.
So that is a huge, and you and I have talked about that at different times where we see someone else's kids and we're like, I'm like, well, this is what I know I'd do. And you go, well, honey, you really can't do it that way.
You can't ever know because you didn't have a kid.
Right.
Right.
But,
we know that.
But we can't speak to what we don't know.
Right.
And I do think that we try to with the program, you know, speaking of Man 360, this program, we try to figure out who are the people we just interviewed Mark McGregor and talked about his dynamic with his multiple kids and different ebbs and flows and situations. I've talked to Aaron Malone.
Yeah.
I remember we did a segment about taking your kids hiking and all of the different gyrations that happen when you just take your kids just for a simple day. It's just pretty much me and you doing that, as far as going out and not having to worry about that. So there is a different dynamic that we don't have as many moving parts
and we
to our
try
family.
to bring those aspects in that other people have, like with Aaron and things like that.
To give a better perspective. But I do agree. I think that the biggest part is that we do have each other's hearts. I haven't done as much recently just because we've been so busy with running CTN as well. But asking you and checking in on dreams or things that you feel like you want to do that I can help you accomplish.
Basically, you checking in with me is go to bed.
So Yolanda was working.
Yes, that's you checking in on me.
I was in the trailer. We're here in Florida. So when we're in Florida, everybody's like, oh, you're going to Florida. You're going to be on vacation every day. And it's like, okay, so if you're only listening to this, Yolanda's shaking her head. No,
we don't do anything
because
but
we just work. So Yolanda did a 12:30.
Yeah.
She did 2:30 a.m. Normally about 10 to midnight is about her
and there are
come home
seasons.
time.
I don't work like that all the time.
No,
there are seasons, but I will say the other thing that you probably agree with is that we trust each other.
Yeah.
So we haven't built a marriage on antagonism and sarcasm and getting back at each other. Like, we trust each other. We know we have each other's best interest at heart, and we have spent our lives. We had our 30th anniversary this last year of a wedding anniversary. We've spent our lives growing together and learning each other. So I know your strengths and weaknesses. You know my strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
Nothing's hidden, right? There's nothing underlying. So we can play off of those. So when I know you're really great at something simple, I'll say, this graphic isn't looking right to me, honey. What, you take it from here. You tell them what needs to change in the graphic, right? I'm not going to try to do that because I don't know how to explain it.
If I have a contract that I'm trying to do.
You have a degree in graphics, right?
And which I appreciate about you, and I think that some of it was stepping into the role that you're currently in as the president of the network too. And that may be for another podcast.
It's another podcast.
It is because
like, essentially, I'm your boss.
You are. You could fire me.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be stupid.
I could.
You could get rid of me.
And there would be situations where that would be possible. I can see that, and
excuse me.
Not that you're doing anything, but in situations.
Are we revealing this now on the podcast?
Not
or
at
something
all.
that you
There's
can?
Nothing
Okay,
awesome.
just making sure. But I do think that the process of learning was so important. I think for you in college and your master's, working on your master's degree, and doing some of those things that I feel like that really helped you become a great president. There's some things that I've told you that, we're not passive aggressive either. I think that's really important. For men, if you have a relationship with your wife and your family, don't be passive aggressive about things. Like, talk about stuff.
And do it in a kind way.
No, you don't have to be kind.
Yes, do it in a kind way.
Yeah, you need to be kind. Yeah. But it's important to be able to share those things. And there are some, and I know I goof around a lot, but there are things that I've told you, and no one would know this, but I'm like, I disagree with this, but I'll do what you're asking me to do. I don't agree with it, but I'll do what you're asking me to do.
Yeah.
Because, and I think for Bodie and I don't know, maybe underlying too, it's like
Bodie's my brother.
Yeah, we know we don't want to be president, right? So there's nothing we're saying in a sneakily way that we're gonna move in on Yolanda's action of being the big boss, because nobody wants that.
My job.
No, but I do think specifically with Man 360, and I think that there have been some times I think with creative differences with things, where you've liked something or I was like, I don't know if I like that, but I don't think that's bad, because I feel like it's still, you're looking at it from just a viewer's perspective. I'm thinking of it as a man's perspective, but also usefulness for men.
And there's times that I'm like, okay, we see it different. Go ahead and do it the way you want to do it. And we are mature enough to settle with, we make that decision that we're giving the other person the leeway to make that decision.
Right.
And not hold it against you. If it goes well, we celebrate. If it doesn't go well, we learn and say, what should we have done different?
And I think too, we've done that, with the program. And I think too now, with doing now the podcast for people. This is our first venture into podcasting, that we're really trying to think about how do we get the information into different audiences and different people that are specifically men. And I thought about that too. I wondered why I had so many women too, that, even around CTN, they're all like, we have some ladies that work here that are like, we just love your TV program, whatever. And I'm like, well, I do have a podcaster that, my wife is the one that's producing it and saying, well, we should do this. And I was like, well, it is a woman's perspective too.
Yeah.
But I do think that we've made a great program that's entertaining for guys, really for the whole family. And I know that a lot of that has come from you pushing me to do those, interviews and things that we've done. That's
there's been people that I've said that we should schedule that you're like, oh, why? Like, what are we going to learn? And they've become great. I mean, we don't have to give names or anything, but.
No, I will do one.
Okay.
I'll just, in all honesty.
Yeah, because people can go back and watch it.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever listen to this podcast. But when Yolanda told me, and this will wrap the podcast up with this.
Oh, I had one more question for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember we interviewed John Tesh.
Yes.
And I was like, I kind of looked at Yolanda like, are you crazy? Like, why would I want to interview John Tesh?
I was like, we have to interview him. He's going to be great.
And that was probably one of, we've interviewed a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best interviews.
It was great.
Just for information.
Yeah.
Meeting him, he's super down to earth.
Kind.
He doesn't, and
loves God.
Loves God, and he's been around the industry long enough, and has enough, high level relationships that he doesn't have to be nice to everybody, but just the nicest guy. And I just really appreciated that.
And his testimony is powerful.
It is.
Like his belief. Yeah.
What was your last question?
So what are, just in a nutshell, the things that you think makes it work for us working together? Like, how do you answer when people say that?
I think, and it's going to sound funny, but it's knowing to give each other space.
Yeah,
like knowing our personalities. People don't know, if they don't know you personally, they don't know that you are an introvert. I do think that's pivoted and changed a little bit in our marriage. I think you were way more an introvert. Remember when you had your super, super short hair in Wyoming? This is hysterical. She's like, I'm just going to get this haircut super, super short. And it's the shortest Yolanda's probably ever had her hair. And she's like, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. But from those days to even now, it's still, there can be times where social gatherings and things drain you, where I'm like, can we go to another social gathering? And you're like, no.
I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed. But I do think that sounds funny, but it is knowing the bandwidth and the capacity of your spouse and honoring that, because I think that's also kind of a love language, is honoring and recognizing when your spouse has, like, I'm done, I've had enough, and I want to go do something else. So, but also I think too, and like we talked about this in, I think it was this last season, of your birding and doing your birding.
Yeah,
it was like doing something that you enjoy or the other person enjoys. I know you've done things with me that you're like, hasn't been like, oh, this is not my favorite thing, but I went and did this and it was good.
Yeah.
But we like to hike. We have some commonalities and common things.
We do. We love going to basketball games together.
Well, we didn't go to any basketball games last year because we were so busy.
We're so busy.
But yeah, I think it's I think that piece, and also having the same heart. I think especially people that are still dating, if you're still in that dating world, to make sure that you have your same life goals are generally the same. It don't have to be ministry necessarily.
Right. I mean, we are pretty unusual. There's not a lot of people. I mean, in our circle, there's more, but not a lot of people that are doing the same
real world
work, the same thing.
Yeah.
We just happen to be doing that. And but we didn't for a long time. I mean, I was a teacher, you were a pastor. Of course, I helped you pastor, but I mean, yeah. We are unusual. I mean, we are.
We are unusual. Wow. So we'll just end the podcast with that. We're unusual.
We're unusual. Hey, we were told the other day that we weren't weird.
I know. And
nice.
It was somebody who, we won't say their name, but we told them we're going to write that down because in the world of Christian,
we like working with you because you're not weird. And I was like, that's awesome.
Well, in the world of Christian television, there's a lot of weirdness. Let's just admit it.
Is.
And he said, this guy's known, kind of everybody or anybody in Christian television. And he said, the reason why I like talking to you guys is you're not weird.
You're not weird.
So, and we don't try to purposely be not weird.
That would be being normal, right?
Because we are kind of weird, right? I mean, I know I'm a weird guy, right? I know I have quirks and.
You're cute.
Ooh, thanks. So, but thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for scheduling yourself.
I did do that, didn't I?
You sure did. You said, what we're going to do? We're going to go down to Florida and we're going to have a podcast. I
was like, we need some podcasts.
Be on it. Yes. So thanks for being on the podcast, Yolanda.
Yeah.
So, and again, thank you for tuning in and listening to our podcast today from Man 360. You can go to, gosh, I can't even get through this, man360.tv to the website and be able to check out our television program that we do, other episodes that we have through our Amplify network on CTN.
Yeah, if you go to Amplify, you can find the other podcasts.
Yeah, we'll just have my guest help end the program. This is how we always do it. So, but yeah, again, thanks for being on the program, honey.
Yep.
Love you.
Love you.
All right.